we had a meeting, and that's why I have a suit on. We had a meeting, and the investigation found that it is Santar oil, that there is supposed to be a mandatory evacuation of 1,000 feet from where the oil reached. So we're talking about thousands of people that were in danger, their health was at risk, and there's possibilities of leukemia, birth defects, and miscarriages because of this stuff that they breathed in. And it's scary that they didn't tell anybody. Matter of fact, the pipe broke almost an entire day before anybody ever said a word. Now, there's reports that it broke a little bit, 6, 8, 10 hours before that. People said they smelled some bad smells. But the official report of when a firefighter was notified and talked to by an employee, it was one day approximately within hours of when they are reporting that happened. This is serious because they could have got a lot of this cleaned up or prevented, and for 12 hours, if I remember what I read properly, that they were putting oil through this pipe and it should have been turned off. They had warnings and they kept pushing the oil through, and it was just coming out, 900,000 gallons approximately, killed all of our fish, all of our animals almost that are on the river and or near the river, and it devastated our everything. So another thing at this meeting, there was some people really upset, and they voiced their concerns, and nobody from ENBRIDGE showed up, of course. They don't care anymore. They're in court right now saying that they don't have to pay anybody that has legitimate complaints. Why? Because they're saying it wasn't their fault. Well, for one, you can see the picture of the pipe. It actually broke on a weld. All right? So that means that weld wasn't strong enough to hold what they were pushing through. All right? So for one, that's their fault. Two, they knew the pipe was bad prior to this. They were running at a lower percentage because of that, and it still broke. So there's another reason why they have to pay. There's a lot of people that went to the hospital. Their doctor bills are not being paid for by ENBRIDGE because ENBRIDGE is saying you have to prove that it's from the oil. Well, these people are sick. A couple of people in Baker Trailer Park died. They had really bad asthma. Well, who knows if this benzene killed them or not? They breathed these toxic chemicals in for a month and they passed away. Now, how do you prove that it was done by the oil spill? I mean, you're getting technical here, and it's hard to prove. But I just state facts. I just state that 2 people died. They had asthma, and they died right after the oil spill, breathing in. They were only several hundred feet away from where this is. And there's a lot of kids that got sick, and there's a lot of people that had rashes, puking. People are saying now that they have signs of cancer. That's what their doctors are saying. Of course, ENBRIDGE is saying, well, you can't prove it's from the oil. While I'm at this meeting, I talked to a gentleman named Mark. He's in charge of the EPA here at this Michigan oil spill. And what he says really, I mean, come on. This guy and the lady that's there, I just don't get it. So I now prove that there is massive amounts of oil that's left at Talmadge Creek. Because if you go to Channel 3 News, and which is in Kalamazoo, Michigan, so put that in the internet, Google it, and then once you get to Channel 3 News, then what you need to do is go to the search area and look up cleanup worker. And you'll see me, and it's a really good article, but it shows where there is canvas, and then this whole area was just full of oil. They didn't dig out all the oil. Okay, they left it. Then they put this brown canvas over the top of it, and then they put grass, and of course the grass will grow and it'll look really nice. Well, in November, they took Channel 2 News out there, which is a news organization that went out with me, and they told Channel News, hey, it looks great. Channel News is on there. Oh, it looks, there's grass everywhere. It looks pretty good to me. Well, this is the thing. In the wintertime, in the areas where they weren't walking, they just walked in one little area, you fall through the snow where the oil is. And I fall down to my waist. And you'll see that if you go to the Channel 3 News. And why this is important is because they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to put this canvas and grass over the top of this. Now that I have proved that the oil's still there, now the EPA guy, Mark, he is now saying that, well, we were going to clean it up. I said, why would you put grass over the top of it? And the lady said, well, we wanted to stabilize it. And come on, how stupid do they think the residents of this area are? That's ridiculous. Why would you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and you put the grass and canvas over this area in September? All right? We're talking you could have worked October, November, December. You could have worked those 3 months before the weather got bad. 3 months of digging, 3 months of getting the oil out of there, 3 months of putting fresh dirt. But no, they put grass and canvas over it in September. All right? So now you have this canvas over the top of it. Nobody knows it's there until I bring it forth to the residents. And so, as I said, now they're sitting there saying, well, we're going to dig it back out. But we were going to do that, and that was our plan. We were waiting until spring. Are you joking me? You were going to wait till spring to dig up an area that you put grass on top of and was waiting for grass to grow? Does that make logical sense? People, please don't believe them. This is what they're trying to do to protect themselves. They say it's sediment that may be contaminated. Then once you prove it's oil, then they say, well, we meant to come back and clean it up. Then they were even saying stuff like, well, the oil moves. Listen, this oil in this area has no way of moving. It can't move. All right? They're also saying that the submerged oil is moving. The submerged oil is not moving in massive amounts from one area to another. So when I find oil in an area that's full of oil, it's been full of oil. It hasn't moved there. It wasn't clean and now dirty. This is just stuff they've left. And I'm getting really mad and upset that they treat the Marshall, Kalamazoo, and Battle Creek people like they're second graders. All right? We're intelligent people. And you, the EPA, yes, I'm pointing at you, EPA, and Mark, and everybody in your organization, you're letting us down. I pay for you to work, Mark. You are working for me. You're not working for ENBRIDGE. You do what is right for me in my community. I don't care what you think, that's your job. You get it done and you do it right. And if you don't, I'm going to make you do it right. I'm going to go back out there and I'm going to videotape all these areas again in the spring. And I am going to prove all your mess ups. And I was going to say something a little worse, but you know what? I'm tired of you hurting our community. And yes, EPA, you're the one hurting it. ENBRIDGE screwed it up the first time, but you're not making them cleaning it up right. And because they're not cleaning it up right, that's your fault. Now, that's on your shoulders, Mark. Don't let me down. I told you face to face, I wanted to go to Florida. I didn't want to sit here in the wintertime and I could be down with my family enjoying the summer. And guess what? I got to be here because I want to help my community. But I shouldn't have to do this. You have EPA people doing this. Why should I have to do this? Why should I have to spend 40 to 60 hours a week going through the river, freezing my ass off, almost getting frostbite, falling in the oil, putting myself in more danger from benzene and toxic chemicals? Why? Why is it my responsibility? You know why? I am doing it because you're not. Because nobody in your organization is doing it properly. You let me down. I proved you let me down. And I'm not going to let my community down. I don't care what I did in the past. I don't care what I do in the future. I do know that I'm giving 100% and I'm going all out to do the right thing. And I will get this oil cleaned up as best as possible. And if there's 5% left, so be it. But you know, that 5% is oil that can't be cleaned up. I'm going to make sure the 95% that is cleaned up is something that you can clean up. Now, there's an argument they've been saying that you're going to hurt the environment by cleaning up certain oil. You're not hurting the environment, people. All right? By sticking hoses with high pressure water into the mud, you are not hurting anything. Nothing. The fish are already dead. You're not changing the ecosystem. You're not changing the growth of the population of animals. They're dead. They're all dead. The only thing that lived was turtles, and you got most of them out of there, or half of them. Do you realize that there is no fish in the river, and any fish that does come upstream into our river now, guess what? They die. So it might be a year or two before we're repopulated, which ENBRIDGE, you need to put about 10,000 at least fish back into our river. You need to plant 10,000 trees for all the ones you cut down. And you need to pay every resident that went to the hospital, whether or not it is proved that it's because of you. But if they had symptoms and they said that they believed it was because of you, you need to pay for it, ENBRIDGE, because they went there because of the oil spill. They didn't go there for any other reason. These people lost work. The businesses were shut down in the areas. The daycares were shut down. And you're saying you don't owe any of these people any money? You sicken me, ENBRIDGE. I am not against ENBRIDGE, okay, everybody? I'm against the people that run ENBRIDGE, because you're running ENBRIDGE into the ground. You are taking a good company and you're running them right in the ground because of the decisions you're making and the people you're hurting and the employees that you're firing when they do the right thing. It's sad. It's sad that a good company is going to go under because guess what? BP bought half of ENBRIDGE, or I read stuff. Don't know if what I read's true, but BP does own part of ENBRIDGE. This is on BP's website. They are a part owner in ENBRIDGE. So this is a BP ENBRIDGE oil spill. So this is another can of worms. And guess what? Whistleblowers in the Gulf have been dying. 2 whistleblowers that were doctors that were bringing up major issues are dead. And well, yeah, you can't prove that ENBRIDGE did it, but come on. These are healthy people that die all of a sudden once they have lawsuits and they bring up accusations. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I've contacted the FBI. They're tracing all my phone calls, and I have no privacy now, but you know what? If somebody does do something to me, maybe a video camera will catch them, or maybe the people that are protecting me will get them. So I don't know what to do except for do the right thing, go forward. I'm not a quitter. When I start something, I finish it. When I was in wrestling, I lost every match my first year, and I didn't quit. And I became MVP of my high school, and I wrestled in college, and I wrestled in the Navy, and the reason why is because I'm not a quitter. It doesn't matter how hard it is, because tough times never last, but tough people do. And I'll tell you what, I'm pretty darn tough, and I do not give up.